So last lectures I discussed regarding the basics of communications. Okay, which type of communication we are going to use in a microcontrollers or in any peripheral devices. When you are designing any systems, you need some communication protocols. With the help of that, you can interface either some devices with the computers, okay, or with processor, with microcontrollers, anything might be possible. So today I will discuss the first communication protocol, that is called SPI communication protocol, serial peripheral interface protocol. So now the first is serial peripheral interface protocol. It is a synchronous means at a time you can send a block of data. It means in one clock cycles you can send the data. Okay, in one clock cycles you can send a block of data, not a single byte data. In asynchronous you can transfer a single byte data, but in a synchronous you can transfer the block of data. That's the difference. So now the second is, it is a serial communication interface. Okay, it is not a parallel communication interface, it is a serial communication interface, and it is used for a short distance communication. Okay, so short distance communication, that's why we are going to use in a system. When you're designing a system, the system is a very small, so the interface protocol is also required for a shorter distance. That's why we will use for the SPI protocol. Now about this protocol, SPI protocol is developed by the Motorola company in 1980s. Okay, so how this protocol will work? So SPI device communications in full duplex mode using master-slave architectures with single masters. So now, yesterday I discussed full duplex mode. If there are two systems or two computers, then what will happen? One line is dedicated for transmission and one line is dedicated for the receiver. Okay, one is transmitting TX and another is RX, transmitting and receiving. So what will happen in this case? This is also SPI protocol is also works on the full duplex mode. So this is a full duplex mode. But you have to remember that in full duplex mode there are two computers. But if when you are using SPI protocol, one computer is works as a master and another work is a slave. All the transferred rate will be controlled by the master devices only. Whenever master wants to initiate the data transfer, it can. Slave don't have a capable to initiate the transmission. Okay. So the master device originates the frame of reading or writing. Whenever you want to transfer the data, it means that you are going to read the data or you are going to write the data. At the time of transmitting, you are reading the data, then you are writing at the receiver end. So the next is, multiple slave devices are supported through selection with individual slave select lines. It might be possible for one master you can connect more than one slave. So how can you control these slaves? So for that purpose, I am going to use slave select lines. I will discuss regarding this, what is slave select lines, how can you use it, okay, in the further slides. So now first you have to think about how synchronous communication protocol is beneficial. If it is not benefit, then I'm not going to use it. Okay, so first you have to understand how it's beneficial for a systems, for transmitting the data. So in this synchronous, what will happen? In this synchronous data bus, separate lines for data and clock keeps both sides in a perfect synchronous. What happened? For a data, dedicated lines are there. For the clocks, dedicated lines are there. So there is a perfect synchronous between the data lines and clock lines. So it's beneficial. But in asynchronous, what will happen? You can send a 1 byte of data, then again you have to read the clock. So in the asynchronous, data and clocks are not a perfect synchronized. So it may stops the transfer rate, it will decrease the transfer rate, it might be possible. So now the clock is an oscillating signal that tells the receiver exactly when the sample to bits are there. Okay, what is the use of clock? Let us consider master generates the clock. So master generates the clock, it means that master is ready to transmit the data. After that, when you are transmitting the data, any slave members are there which is ready to accept it. Okay, so the perfect clock signals, it is ready to accept the lines data. So this could be that it might be possible. This could be rising edge or falling edge. Let us consider when the transfer will happen. There are two options. Either it will happen at the rising edge, either it will go low to high or high to low. That is called rising edge and falling edge. Rising edge is 0 to 1 and falling edge is 1 to 0. So you have to select any one. But in the data sheet, it will specify that which one you have to use, which one you have to choose. Okay. So for that purpose, you can see the data sheet of the SPI protocols. In that data sheet, it is mentioned that which either rising edge or falling edge you have to select that. When the receiver detects the edge, it will immediately look at the data lines to read the next bit. What will happen? When the master initiates the clock, either rising edge or falling edge, slaves will try to read the data whatever is available on the data lines. जैसे मान लो क्या होता है कि जैसे ही मास्टर क्लॉक इनिशिएट कर दिया क्लॉक और ट्रांसमिट कर दिया डेटा, तो स्लेव का काम क्या है कि स्लेव डेटा रीड कब करेगा. ओके, ये डिपेंड करता है कि वो सेट कर रहे हैं वो राइजिंग एज पे सेट किया या फॉलिंग एज पे सेट किया है. अगर राइजिंग एज पे सेट किया है तो क्या होगा, जैसे ही 0 से 1 जाएगा, स्लेव क्या करेगा, डेटा लाइंस पर जो भी चीजें होगा उसको रीड कर लेगा. ओके, if you selected the falling edge, what will happen? If it is changing from 1 to 0, then it will try to read it. Okay, and also because the clock is set along with the data, specifying the speed is not important, although devices will have top speed. See what will happen. I already talked about the data lines and clock lines are perfect synchronized. So what is the meaning of perfect synchronization? The perfect synchronization tells that there is no difference between the clock speed and data speed. Correct? So in this synchronous communication protocol, what will happen? The speed will not affect. Whatever the system is having a speed, that speed, with the help of that speed, you can transfer the data easily. ठीक है, जो भी सिस्टम का स्पीड होगा उस स्पीड को हम क्या करेंगे, वापस उसी स्पीड से हम क्या करेंगे, डेटा सेंड कर सकता है विद द हेल्प ऑफ सिंक्रोनस. बट इन एसिंक्रोनस दिस थिंग्स आर नॉट देयर. ओके, so now we will discuss about the some basics of the some SPI protocols. So I already discussed that it can operate with a single master devices and with one or more slave devices. If you are talking about one or more slave devices, then some lines are there. With the help of that lines, you can control the slave devices. That is called slave select. Slave select. That is called SS. This is always an active low signals. Remember that. What is active low signals means? Whenever you providing 0, this will operate, this will work, this will function. Otherwise, when you're providing 1, it will not function. Okay. So you can connect one or more slave devices and which is controlled by the slave select lines. One unique features of SPI is that data can be transferred without interruption. Without interruption, you can send the data enormously. Okay, there is no stopping between that. So any number of bits can be present or received, sent or received in a continuous stream. Since there is no interruption, so you can transmit or you can receive a number of bits. Okay, but in case of I2C and UART, data is sent in a packet, so it is limited to a specific number of bits. I2C और UART में क्या होता है कि हम स्पेसिफिक नंबर ऑफ बिट्स ही सेंड कर सकते हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि हम कंटिन्यूअसली सेंड करेंगे. ओके, आई विल डिस्कस व्हेन आई विल डिस्कस I2C. ओके. So in this situation, one start condition and stop conditions will be there. With the help of a start condition, you can transfer the one packets. With the stop signals, you can stop the transmission of data. So in this case, it may be data is interrupted during transmissions, since it will depend upon the start and stop conditions. Start and stop bits, you can tell that. So now if you are talking about the masters and slaves, so this device communicating with the master and slave relationship. So what is the master and slave relationship? This relationship indicates that master can control the slave devices. Okay, that's why its name is master. So master is responsible for generating the clocks. Okay, slave don't have options to generate the clock. That's why master will control all the slave devices. Generally, what will happen in the master case? Master devices is usually microcontrollers, while the slave devices usually a sensor, display, or memory chip. Okay, so you can see that microcontrollers generate the clocks, and he will do the operations if he wants to use the sensor, he wants to use the display, or he wants to use the memory chip. But sensor, display, memory chip without controller, there is no use of that. If sensor senses the data, but what will he do? He won't do anything. Okay, so that's why the master is only one and slave may be multiples, one or more than one. Okay, so now you can see that how the SPI interface will work. With the diagram, you can see one is a masters. Here I am talking about the only one slave. Okay, after that I will talk about the more than one slave. So this is the master and this is the slave. So there are 4 pins available. That is called MOSI, MISO, SCLK, and SS or CS. So first you have to understand what is the use of these 4 signals. What is the use of these 4 pins? Okay. So for the SCLK is called serial clock. This serial clock is the output from the master devices. So you can see in the slave there is no output pins are available with the SC clock lines. That's why only master will generate the clocks. Okay, when the transfer needed, master will generate the clocks and it will activate the slave signals. So how can you activate the slaves? The slave you can activate with the SS lines, that is called slave select, or CS lines, that is called chip select. Slave select or chip select, both are active low signals. So you can do like that. Sorry, do like that so that you can understand this is an active low signals. So what is the meaning of active low signals? When you want to activate the slaves, you have to provide 0, not 1. Okay, it means the active low signals. Now there are left 2 pins, MOSI and MISO. So what is the meaning of MOSI and MISO? So it is called master output slave input. This line, this pins indicates data output from the master devices. Okay, so you can see here in the MOSI, the output pins goes to the slaves. So with the help of this pin, you can transfer the data. Okay. Now the MOSIO pin, MISO pin is master input slave output or master in slave out. That is data out from the slave. If the slave wants to send the data, this will be with this pin, the master will accept the data. Okay, so there are 2 things are available. You can see here, this will work on full duplex. 6 dedicated lines are there. MOSI अलग for transmitters, अलग lines are there. और MISO के लिए अलग लाइन है. ठीक है, दोनों के लिए अलग लाइन है. इसका मतलब क्या है? डेटा हम ट्रांसमिट कर सकते हैं और डेटा हम रिसीव कर सकते हैं एट ए टाइम. नो प्रॉब्लम इन दैट. Okay, so this is regarding only singles slaves will be there. Okay, so I will first describe the 4 pins in detail. Okay, so first is serial clock. So what is the use of serial clock? What it will do? The serial clock is a serial clock. So serial clock, what will do? Clock signal synchronizes the output of data from the master with the sampling of bits by the slave. What is the use of clock? Whenever clock activated, it means that it will synchronize the output of the data bits. For that purpose, the slave will read the data lines. जब क्या होगा? क्लॉक हम प्रोवाइड करेंगे विद द हेल्प ऑफ मास्टर्स. इसका मतलब है कि मास्टर डेटा सेंड कर रहा है, लेकिन डेटा सेंड कर रहा है तो डेटा रिसीव स्लेव करेगा. तो स्लेव कब करेगा? एट द राइजिंग एज और फॉलिंग एज. ओके, ऑलरेडी डिस्कस. तो राइजिंग एज और फॉलिंग एज पे क्या करेगा? वो डेटा लाइंस को रीड करेगा और डेटा लाइंस को रीड करके डेटा लाइंस पे जो भी बिट्स होगा वो क्या करेगा? सैंपल कर लेगा अपने पास. Okay, same thing, 1 bit of data is transferred in each clock cycles. So the speed of data transfer is determined by the frequency of clock signals. How can you define the speed of the data transfer? Let us consider you have a systems, Core i3, Core i7, Core i5. Okay, different processors are there. So all processors having different speeds. So this the speed will depending over the frequency of the clock signals. What will happen? Frequency. If you know the frequency of a clock signals, you can easily able to find the time period. If you are able to find the time period, then you can tell that what is the. How can you tell that it is speed is increasing or not? So what will happen? Whenever the time is less, it means that frequency is more. Time is less, it means that whatever instruction is executed by the processor within 1 clock cycles. Okay, so this time is जो ये टाइम है, जो टाइम एग्जीक्यूशन टाइम है, ठीक है, ये टाइम जितना छोटा रहेगा, इसका मतलब ये है कि सिस्टम है उतने जल्दी प्रोसेस कर लेगा. जैसे मान लो कि टाइम उसका कितना है 20 माइक्रो सेकेंड्स, तो 20 माइक्रो सेकेंड्स में क्या कर लेगा? एक क्लॉक साइकिल उसका पूरा हो जाएगा और 20 माइक्रो सेकेंड्स में वो एक इंस्ट्रक्शन एग्जीक्यूट कर लेगा. ओके, तो हम क्या करते हैं? इस टाइम को हम रिड्यूस करते हैं फॉर इंक्रीजिंग द फ्रीक्वेंसी. सबको पता होता है कि फ्रीक्वेंसी इतना है, इस प्रोसेसर की फ्रीक्वेंसी इतना है प्रोसेसर की, लेकिन हाउ कैन यू डिफाइन द फ्रीक्वेंसीज विद दिस टाइम पीरियड? Okay, so first you have to, when you are designing any processor, you have to define that what is the execution time for that particular processor. With the help of time, you can able to find the frequencies. Okay, So in SPI communication, always initiated by the masters, and also the clock is generated by the masters. Okay. So there is no options for slave to initiate the clocks. So now slave select lines. So slave select lines, I already told you, this is the active low signals. So whenever you want to use a multiple slaves, then with the slave select lines, you have to decide that which slaves you want to use. Okay. So if let us consider more than 2 slaves are present, it means that in the masters there are 3 or let us 3 slaves are present, then 3 lines for slave select lines will be there in a master. Okay. So what will happen? The master can choose which slaves it wants to communicate. Okay, no problem for providing the low voltage level. In the ideal case, non-transmitting state, the slave select line is kept at high voltage. Whatever happen, if you want to use the slave line, you can provide 0. If you don't want to use any slaves in that, you can provide 1. Remember that. So multiple chip select or success pins may be available on the masters. Remember that if you want to connect more than 2 slaves, then what will happen? That particular number of pins will be available in the masters. Okay. So if only one CSS pin is present, multiple slaves can be wired to the master by daisy chaining. What is daisy chaining? Actually, daisy chaining is a method for wiring a scheme in which you can connect multiple devices. Okay, multiple devices are wired together in a sequence or a ring. That forms as a daisy chaining. Okay, I think you've seen daisy flowers. So in the daisy flowers like that, wiring will be there. So these pins only responsible for selecting the slave lines, slaves, which slaves you want to select. Now you can see this is a case of multiple slaves. See, there are 3 lines will be common: MOSI, MISO, and SC clock. Now you can see there are 3 slave devices will be there. So for the 3 slave devices, you need a 3 select lines. So SS1, SS2, SS3. Understand? If you want to connect slave devices, what will happen? Let us consider I want to use slave 1. So I will provide 0 of SS1, rest of this is 1. If you want to use slave 2, then what it is? You can provide 1, 0 and 1. If you want to use slave 3, it means that you can provide 1, 1 and 0. Okay, so in this way you can use a multiple slaves, or you can interface with the multiple slave with a single master. Okay, remember that only one master is available. Now you can see with the help of how communications with happens. Okay, so the first thing is I have considered only one slaves. Okay, if you want to use more than one slave, you can use, no problem in that. In first case, the master outputs the clock signals. The first case में क्या होगा कि मास्टर्स क्लॉक सिग्नल्स जनरेट करेगा and it will generate the clock signals. It will go to the slave devices. Now the second thing is you have to active the slave signals. So how can you active the slave devices? With the help of slave select lines or chip select lines. How? When you're providing the low, you can see that here it is written like this: low signals. It means you are providing 0, it will go to the SS signals. With the help of slave select lines, you can activate the slave. It means that the slave is ready to accept the data. So the third case, what will happen? In the third case, the master sends the data through the MOSI pin. Okay, and the slave reads the bits as they are received. Since already you have activated the slave select lines, so उसमें क्या होगा कि जैसे ही मास्टर डेटा सेंड करेगा, स्लेव डेटा रीड करेगा. Okay, and if a response is needed, the slave returns data one bit at a time to the master along MOSI. The master reads the bit as they receive. See, if the slave wants to send the data to the master with the help of MOSI pin, it will transfer the data to masters. So these things will be happen. Okay, so first thing is you have to generate the clock with the help of masters. You have to activate the slave devices, which slave devices you want to communicate. Third one is you can transfer the data with the help of MOSI pin, and fourth pin is the slave is also transfer the data with the help of MISO pin. Okay, so this is the four basic rules that communications will happen with the SPI protocol. So now you can say the data transmission, how it will happen. I told you the MOSI lines and MISO lines, correct? But whenever you are transferring the data, some things will be required to store the data, correct? Something will be required to store the data. So that's why we are using the shift register to store the data. Why using shift registers, not registers? Shift registers, since if you want to transfer the data, one by one data you have to shift at it. Correct? So that's why in the slave devices, let us consider within this slave devices, shift registers are available. So whenever the data is read by the slave, what will happen? It will store in the shift registers. Okay. So by this way, you can transfer the data with the help of SPI protocols. Now, what is the advantage of SPI? We will see the advantage, limitations, and disadvantages. Okay, or sorry, applications. So now you know that already it works on the full duplex. It is a push-pull drivers. What is the meaning of push-pull drivers? I think you have studied in the circuit, analog circuits, push-pull amplifier. Okay, it is a type of circuit that uses a pair of active devices that alternatively supply current or absorb current from a connected load. Okay, so what will happen to use with push-pull drivers? It is a good signal integrity and high speed. To maintain the strength of the signals and speed, it is necessary. Okay. Next is higher throughput than I2C or SM bus. Higher throughput means, what is the means of throughput? Throughput is how much data you can be transferred from one location to another in a given amount of time. Throughput is deciding that how much data you can able to transfer in a fixed amount of time. Okay, so this is a higher throughput than I2C or SM bus. I2C I will discuss in the next class. SM bus, see, this is the SM bus is a type of bus that is called system management bus. So what is a system management bus? So it is a two-wire interface through which various system components can be communicated with each other, with the rest of the system. Now you can see when we are talking about the laptop or desktop, there are so many things are there. There are so many components: hard disk, RAM, fans, memories. Okay, so many things are there. DVD writer, but these all components are connected through the SM bus. Okay. So the next advantage is it is not limited to any maximum clock speed. Okay, so whatever the system speed is there, with that speed it will transfer the data. अगर मान लो ऐसा नहीं होता, अगर हम दूसरे बस से कनेक्ट कम्युनिकेशन से प्रोटोकॉल से सिस्टम को कनेक्ट करते तो क्या होता? अगर मान लो कि हार्ड डिस्क से डेटा जा रही है तो वो डेटा स्लो जाता, तो उतने देर तक प्रोसेसर क्या करेगा, he has to wait, ठीक है। Again, it is not limited to 8-bit words. Remember that 8-bit words means you can send any amount of data. That's it. Next is slaves uses the master clocks and do not need precision oscillators. What is the advantage? The master is generating the clock and the master provides clocks to the slave devices. So there is no need to use an oscillator for slaves. So this is a one advantage. And also slaves do not need to unique address. What is the benefit if address is not there? Just you can connect with the slave select lines. With the single lines you can connect. No problem in that. Okay. लेकिन क्या होता है I2C, GPIB और SCI में हमें यूनिक एड्रेस की रिक्वायरमेंट पड़ती है। ओके, सो I2C I will discuss. GPIB, what is GPIB? GPI is called General Purpose Interface Bus. You can remember when you are studying this subject, there are so many names will occur with a different name, which is a unique name. Till now you didn't heard about that. ऐसा होगा कि बहुत सारा वर्ड जो आएगा वो नया आएगा, ठीक है, उसके बारे में तुम्हें पता नहीं होगा. So you can remember or you can listen carefully. So GPIB is called General Purpose Interface Bus. So what is the use of GPIB bus? Actually, this bus interfaces between computers and measuring instruments. If you want to connect the interface the computers with measuring instruments, then you have to use GPIB bus. So what is the SCSI bus? It is called Small Computer System Interface. What is Small Computer System Interface? Actually, it is a set of standards. It is a set of standards for physically connected and transferring data between computers and peripheral devices. If you are connecting, you are interfacing the physical devices with computers, then you have to some set of rules that SCSI will define that rules. Now, what is the limitations? The first limitation is it requires more pins on IC package. It requires more pins of IC package than I2C. Okay. Second thing is no hardware flow control by the slave. Slave cannot control the master. You can remember. So that's why no hardware flow control by the slave. Slave कुछ नहीं कर सकता. जो भी करना होगा master करेगा. Okay. No hardware slave acknowledgement. If the data received by the slave, लेकिन slave बताता नहीं है कि मैंने डाटा रीड कर लिया. जैसे चलो मैंने डाटा सेंड किया, ठीक है, और डाटा जब सेंड किया उसके पास, तो उसके पास जैसे क्या होता है व्हाट्सएप के थ्रू हम डेटा सेंड करते हैं, मैसेज करते हैं, तो क्या होता है हमने यहाँ से सेंड किया, तो क्या सिंगल क्लॉक जाती है, टिक का मार्क आता है, उसके बाद क्या होता है जब वो वापस रीड करता है तो डबल मार्क जाता है, फिर वो ग्रीन होता है, ब्लू होता है, सॉरी, ओके। तो इस तरीके से एक्नॉलेजमेंट मिलती है कि सामने वाले ने मैसेज पढ़ लिया। लेकिन इसमें क्या होता है कि स्लेव तो डेटा रीड कर लेता है लेकिन वो बताता नहीं है कि डेटा रीड कर लिया, ओके। एंड वन लिमिटेशन इज इट सपोर्ट्स ओनली वन मास्टर डिवाइसेस। दूसरा, नो एरर चेकिंग प्रोटोकॉल इज डिफाइंड। इफ यू सेंडेड द डेटा, स्लेव्स गेट्स द डेटा, बट जहां स्लेव के पास डेटा गया है वो डेटा मैंने भेजा है सेम गया है या डिफरेंट गया है, इसका कोई रूल्स नहीं है, ठीक है। मान के चलते हैं कि जो डेटा हम भेजे हैं वही गया है, लेकिन इट बिटवीन सम माल फंक्शनिंग मे बी देयर, ओके, इट इज पॉसिबल। See the applications where SPI can used. So in these places SPI will use. First, there are so many sensors are there that interfaces is also available with the SPI protocols. Okay, so SPI is temperature sensors, pressure sensors, ADC, touch screens, video controllers. In these devices, if you want to connect that, you can use the SPI. Control devices like audio codecs, digital potentiometer, DAC. What is audio codec? Actually, audio codec is a device which is capable of encoding and decoding a digital data stream. हम लोगों ने टेप रिकॉर्डर देखा होगा, ठीक है? Tape recorder is also example for the audio recorder. Memory, flash memory and EPROM you can use. In real-time clocks, you can interface with the SPI. LCD, sometimes even for managing image data. When you are working with the image processing, then you can use any MMC or SD card. So MMC is called multimedia card. All of you know that multimedia card. It is also one type of a flash memory based memory card standard. Okay, in the starting it will coming MMC card, SD card. Okay, so in this way, I hope you will able to understand the SPI protocols